Here's to hugging corners, not cutting them. To grinding away, not grinding to a halt. Here's to those who stay true to the old saying, if you want something done right, you do it yourself. From Tallboy Storage to the latest line of extreme grip hand tools, Craftsman is there when it matters.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the virtual Limaland Motorsports Park in Lima, Ohio, the sole quarter-mile clay oval on the iRacing service, and we are here for the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Championship Series, as they have their second round here at the Titus Bull Ring on the service. Randy Chinnett, Cam Walsh, and Hugo Louis bring you all the action tonight as the best super late model drivers duke it out for 4 heats, a last chance qualifier, and a 50-lap event tonight. Cam, this little quarter-mile track has not been seen too much. It only released this season on the iRacing service, and because of the nature of it, only a quarter mile puts on very unique racing compared to the big half-mile tracks we have on the service.
Absolutely, Randy, and for me, I think this might actually be the first broadcast I do at Limaland. Might be the second, but I will say I'm pretty excited about this. The track, honestly, it already looks pretty worn in. It started with slight usage, but since then, these big, hefty 2,500-pound machines putting down all that horsepower, they are certainly getting ready to have a very worn-in track, especially with the bankings here at Limaland. I am excited.
Very steep banking, and that cushion definitely comes in pretty strong once we get in the later stages. I think through the first few heats and maybe even into the last chance qualifier, I think that top side will start to slowly speed it up, but I think by the time we get to the main, once we get 20, 30 laps into it, I think you're pretty much going to want to be up around the top. We have seen some fantastic racing here in some past broadcasts. We, of course, do some non-wing sprint cars. That happens on our Friday Night Dirt Night broadcast. Those USAC 360s have put on fantastic shows here. David Heileman, who I'm not actually sure if he's in attendance today, was very, very quick in those and is very good around here. So that number 21 car, he put on a fantastic show about a month or so ago when those guys came to this place. I expect that 21 car might be decently quick around here, but of course you always have the familiar names to look out for, the likes of the Howard Weavers of the world, the Austin Selmans, the Justin Thomases of the world. A lot of fast names in attendance tonight.
Yeah, Zach Leonardi as well. You see the championship standings on your screens right now. Howard Weaver, that is your leader. James Edens, he had that surprise run. Well, I guess I shouldn't say surprise run. He drove himself all the way from the back to the front, and he took second place 2 weeks ago. Dylan Hauser currently running in third. So you see a couple other names there. Austin Sebelman, he's back in fifth, and Joshua Lawton rounds out your top 10 in the championship standings as we get ready to run here in Lima, which is, Lima, Ohio, of course. A great state of Ohio. And Randy, I think what's going to happen is that this track is going to get worn in to the point where it's going to get into a very foreign territory for us, because I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Could very well. We've done a couple of big, long events in the past, but I don't know if we've ever done anything quite like this, especially on one of these little tracks. The thing to keep in mind, though, Cam, that even though the track is so small, normally when we're talking NASCAR-style stuff, whenever you go to a half-mile track, three-quarter-mile track, one-mile track, they usually bump up the lap counts. Here tonight, lap count is what it is for the 3/8-mile track that we have at Lanier and all the rest of the half-mile tracks for the entire rest of the schedule. So even though it's a much shorter duration lap, in terms of actual race distance, in terms of number of laps, it's exactly the same. So the track, in theory, won't get any more beat up than any of the other kind of race nights that we typically expect to have.
And that could perhaps have been one of the factors that they used to come up with the numbers. I mean, I, of course, would love to see a 200-lap feature here, but that's obviously not what is going to happen. What is going to happen, Mr. Randy Chenoweth, is heat number 1 of 4.
Heat 1 of 4 getting started right now, and quick time on the night. Pole position for the first heat race goes to Nick Cooper with a time of 12.498 seconds. Starting on the outside of that front row for this first 8-lap heat will be Austin Carr with David Heileman and Zach Rounds on row number 2. Drew Hirschko and Mark Molnar will be on row 3 with James Edens and Justin Thomas on row number 4. And so for Mr. Justin Thomas, he's going to have to do a lot here in order to maybe, I think, work his way through the field. Of course, James Eden as well, someone we talked about having a very good night tonight. But one thing to also talk about, Cam, we are doing the typical giveaways. If you are in the YouTube chat, again, this is YouTube chat only. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Dirt Vision, wherever you might be, this does not factor in. So if you want to have a chance at this, come to the YouTube feed, and it's !WOO tickets. Also share the stream to Twitter. You can potentially get into a giveaway as well for a couple of World of Outlaw tickets to any event of your choosing. So once again, !WOO tickets in our chat as we get ready for the field to roll off.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know Hugo's already going to kill me for it, so I might as well get it out of the way early. Hugo, the number 52 car, I want the camera right on that number 52 car as we're getting ready to roll away. That is the car in the very back of the field. That's your 52. You see a little bit of purple, see a little bit of white, see that third base machine. He's just getting underway. That's James Edens. Hugo, Randy, he finally put a paint scheme on that thing, I guess. After taking that purse for coming in second last week, he managed to cobble something together. Looks fantastic, that number 52. I'm pretty happy for it.
Finally, a bit of color instead of the absence of color. Is white all colors? I actually do not know. But field rolls off. Colors. Field rolls off. First quarter-mile trip around the racetrack done, and we're getting ready to go green flag racing for this first 8-lap heat. As always, the format is the same. 4 8-lap heat races. Top 4 transfer directly to the feature event. Last chance qualifier a little bit later in the night. Top 4 there will transfer to the feature as well. Green flag flies. Nick Cooper gets on it through the center of 3 and 4. We are green in heat race number 1, and everyone's jockeying for the top side. 21 of Heileman trying to make things work down low. He's fighting with a 28 of Zach Rounds.
And Austin Carr, he tried very hard to try to get a good punch, but Nick Cooper was able to just run up to the high side as soon as they hit that green flag. Very good for him. Zach Rounds covering from David Heileman, but these are your top 4. 4 is going to transfer. 4 is going to go to the B main. Though we'll see here, Mark Molnar, he is that number, the driver of the number 97 car, Randy. He's the one that has got to try to work on catching up David Heileman. The 4 guys in the back not seeing anything to it. James Edens in the wall.
Hirschko struggling a little bit as well. That car looked very tight as he entered turn 3. Did not want to rotate whatsoever up on the top side. But right now, that 21 car, David Heileman, he is comfortably in that 4th position, harassing that 3rd place runner of Zach Rounds. In fact, we have a big separation between 4th and 5th, Cam, because right now, Mark Molnar, he's trying to deal with that 26 of Drew Hirschko. He's trying to make that sort of second groove work. Not quite able to do so. Still trying to work that middle line. Going to make up a lot of time on entry. What happened?
We just had a big, huge, I don't want to say say it's a dive bomb. We don't call them dive bombs here, but either way, a massive push from David Heilman on Zach Rounds. He's slide job, that's the word I'm looking for. Came right up the nose. Zach Rounds ended up punting the rear bumper of David Heilman. That's damaged his car. That's allowed Drew Hirschdow to come into the picture as well as Mark Molnar. We also have a battle for the lead. At least we did until Austin Carr put it in the wall at the exact same time as that was going on. So they're kicking it off in the top four. They do not want to stay safe.
These guys really being rough right here. They're coming through for the last lap. Nick Cooper is going to come off corner number 4 and win heat race number 1 with Austin Carr in second. David Heilman will round out your top 3, and Zach Rounds will take that final transfer spot. Drew Hirschko, Mark Molnar, Justin Thomas, and James Eden second place in the points. He's going to have to come to the back once again.
Yeah, he is, certainly, and he better do something with that car real quick because they are not going to be happy with that one back in pit lane. Behind the wall there. He's not going to be a happy driver. Maybe the setup might be good for maybe the track being a little more worn in, or opposite. You know, if what you don't want to do is have it set up to where you are set up for when there's too much grip, and, well, that's only going to get worse as the night goes.
So, second heat race coming at you. John Fiddler, the second quickest qualifier on the night. He's going to start inside on that front row of Zach Leonardi. Jacob Fields and Adam Elby will make up row number 2. Charles Cosper and Kevin Dedmon on row number 3, with Virgil Graham and Casey Kerwin on row 4. I think the interesting name here in terms of being deep in this field, Cam, is going to be that number 42 car of Virgil Graham, starting deep in this one, 7th place. You typically wouldn't expect Virgil being that far down the order, but he's got a lot of names out in front of him that he's going to have to get by. I think Virgil's going to struggle getting a transfer spot here.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. It's going to be interesting. There's a bit of a gap between the pace truck and the rest of the field. I'm happy to see Leonardi as somebody has bumped into somebody already on the pacing run, so we'll need to see what they can do here. But, yeah, only got 7 cars here at the start behind the safety truck.
So, field's going to work down the back straightaway as we wait to see where that 115 of John Fiddler is going to decide to get on it. As they roll in towards 3 and 4 right here, waiting. Is going to go early. Going to hold him a little bit longer this time. The 115 gets on it. We are green in heat race number 2 of your World of Outlaw Craftsman Late Model Championship Series. The 24, Zach Leonardi tries to slot it up top, turns it back down to the bottom. He's going to nose into the lead for now. Can he slide up in front of that 115? He will. Can he hold on to the position? Yes, he can. That 24, Zach Leonardi is going to lead them through the first quarter-mile trip around the Limaland Speedway Park as they work down the back straightaway, and he is comfortably in the lead now.
Well, yeah, that's a great start right there from Leonardi. He wanted it, and he got it here at Limaland. He's riding that high side. Now everybody's riding that high side. Nobody was trying to get to that inside line, but here comes John Fiddler. He wants to do some exploratory action here at the quarter mile, and it looks to me like it's going to be Jacob Fields covering that 4th position, but Charles Cosper wanted that inside.
Out in front, though, John Fiddler has managed to squeak back into the lead of that 24. And Leonardi through the slick stuff, I think, may have got a little bit of a touch with Adam Elby. He's going to fall back to the 3rd spot, maybe even 4th, as the 007 and Jacob Fields wants this as well. The first couple cars are through and away clean, but we have a hugely tightly contested situation here in 3rd, 4th, 5th place on the racetrack right now with Adam Elby and Jacob Fields, who make up P3, P4. Kevin Dedmon is in 5th and that number 5, and he is so close and has gotten close a couple times to transferring into one of those coveted top 4 positions. They have 2 to go.
Yeah, absolutely, and for John Fiddler, I mean, he's running that damaged car right now, that 115, but he has got about 5-6 car lengths between him and Zach Leonardi, and if you're Leonardi, I'd just take it back, Randy, because they are on the white flag lap.
White flag lap here down the back straightaway and in towards 3 and 4. The 115 of Fiddler is comfortable out there in front. He's going to win this heat race. Jacob Fields, he's going to round out that final transfer position. Kevin Dedmon so close in that 5th spot with Charles Cosper, Virgil Graham, and Casey Kerwin actually did not even take the green there, so he wasn't actually in that race whatsoever. But Fiddler, Leonardi, Elby, and Fields will be your top 4 transfers through heat race number 2. As we now get ready for heat race number 3. Alex Bergeron, 3rd quickest qualifier of the night. He'll start on that front row with his teammate of Howard Weaver on the outside of him. Last week's, the first round winner for the late model series. Garrett Nabruge and Dylan Hauser on row number 2. Jesse Carr, Brandon Schmidt on row 3, with Randall Carter and Austin Semmelman bringing up the tail of the field. Austin once again well off the pace cam. We haven't really seen him get the form just yet across any of these series. The only really kind of decent night he had was in that second round last week at Charlotte for the sprint cars, and he kind of threw it away in a final pass attempt for the win in 3 and 4. So that number 18 machine not starting this championship off the way you would like.
No, not at all. I mean, he threw away, essentially, he pissed away $300. But you know what? You're racing for that $1,000. You're racing for that big old paycheck. As the lights are out on the pace track, I'm surprised. Yeah, for the second place. That's what I meant. He was going for the $1,000.
No, $300 for first, $250 for second. So Cam, I believe, needs to read some of our documents. Nope, Cam needs to read our documents. As the 12 machine of Alex Bergeron is going to come through 3 and 4. He's going to bring us the green flag. The 07 of Howard Weaver in that second spot of the fight for third is going to begin already. Dylan Hauser and Garrett Nabruge going to be duking it out. I think the 3 of Brandon Schmidt, he got up into the wall, and he goes from 6th all the way back to dead last in heat race number 3.
Guys, that's all I'm saying. Anyways, Howard Weaver, he's got a great start, to be completely honest. He's doing a fantastic job here, already up to speed, high-siding it, as he's going to try to chase down Alex Bergeron. And what I wanted to get to say before we had the whole snafu with the monetary amounts is it's great to see Alex Bergeron. Normally you would just think, okay, yeah, sprint cars, Alex Bergeron, all right, whatever, fine. But he seems to continually do a good job in the super late models, and at this point, I would just call him a super late model regular. As here comes Dylan Hauser.
Dylan Hauser showing good speed here already in that number 2 car, trying to make that sort of a lane down on 3 and 4 work. Wasn't quite able to do so. The 07 of Howard Weaver just comfortably trying to sit there with Alex Bergeron. Oh, the 2 machine's actually going to find that wall. Will he be able to hold on to that? Because that's going to reel in that number 15 of Garrett Nabruge, as well. A tightly contested situation between Austin Semmelman, Jesse Carr, and Randall Carter, as these guys all want that 4th spot. Now that Hauser's joined the fray, that 19 machine of Garrett Nabruge is going to want to get out of the crossfire with 2 laps to go.
Dylan Hauser, of course, used to race Formula Ford in England, if I'm correct, as he pounced the outside wall one more time. Here comes Austin Semmelman. He wants to make the dance as he fights Garrett Nabruge here, but he loses it all as Randall Carter moves to his side. It seems to be, Randy, anyone moves that inside, they're gone.
Seems to be the situation, but he gets himself into that 5th spot at least. And Alex Bergeron is going to win heat race number 3. Howard Weaver, Dylan Hauser, and Garrett Nabruge round out your top 4 transfer spots. Austin Semmelman, he makes up 3 spots in that heat race. Very good for him in that 18. Going to give him a better starting position for the B a little bit later tonight. Randall Carter in 6th with Jesse Carr and Brandon Schmidt rounding out that 8-car field. And we now have one more heat race before we get into the main events tonight. Matthew McKinney. He's going to be on pole here, fourth quickest qualifier tonight with Chris Brenner. The outside of that front row, Josh Lawton and Jacob Leverstein on row 2. Tyler Ducarme and Phil Diaz on row 3, and Josh Phillips rounds out this 7-car field. I have to say, I think Leverstein is sort of really the driver to watch, see if he can move up in that 777, but there are some big names starting 5th, 6th, and 7th outside of that transfer cutoff at the moment.
Yeah, and, you know, we're going to have a good final heat. I think we've had good running here, and I would like to see what Jacob Leverstein is able to do here, Tyler Ducarme as well. Also, it's Niebergi, if we're remembering correctly, not Nabruge, like I like to say, but either way, we'll get that sorted out. But, Randy, honestly, we've had some bumping and running here at Limaland, but so far, a good racing.
Yeah, things have gotten physical. We haven't seen anything too crazy. I think most of our big incidents have been people making mistakes because it's a very top-heavy circuit right now. You see it's super slick up against that cushion. There's still a lot of good dirt in sort of that middle to bottom groove, and as that goes on, I think we might see that middle line come in, but you know, typically in these types of tracks, that cushion is where you want to be. Is they're going to head off towards 3 and 4, and where will that 9 of Matthew McKinney get on it? He'll get it in the middle of 3 and 4. The 777, big move already. He might make up a couple spots before he even gets to the line. Jacob Leverstein, he's in P3. He's trying to fight and stay locked to the rear of that 70 of Chris Brenner. A little bit of contact behind as well. Things are getting physical in heat race number 4.
Yeah, Lawton, he tried something, and he actually made something else work. He recovered from that, and he split between Ducarme and Diaz, and he made up a couple positions, and that is going to be good for 4th position, so good on him to recover and make lemonade with the lemons he was given on that start. He tried as hard as he could to go inside. He gets a bump, from Tyler Ducarme, but either way, looks to me like Joshua Lawton, as long as he can sort it out. Here comes Ducarme. He's going to throw the massive slider. He did not get that one.
A little bit physical there as Josh Lawton's going to hold on to that transfer position. The 25 going to now latch right onto the rear of that car. The number 94 of Phil Diaz still unable to get anywhere. Top three are kind of all separated away and relatively gapped, so look for them just to try to get through this heat race cleanly. The 25 of Tyler Ducarme is going to throw another move. Can he make this one stick? No, he can't. Josh Lawton doing a great job of contact in towards 3 and 4. Lawton gets sent off into the wall, and somehow that number, Lawton holds on to it. Ducarme gets sent up into the wall.
Yeah, and we've all but forgotten about the leader. That's Matthew McKinney, and then you got Brenner and Leverstein. This has been a massive battle for that 4th position, that final transfer spot to get to your main confidently and not having to work your way here as Ducharme goes and tries another over-under on Phillips.
They're going to work now off of corner, well, in towards 1 and 2 for your race leaders for the final time. The fight for this transfer spot is still close, though. Phil Diaz has done a good job to get up into that 5th spot. Will he be able to make anything of this? Top 3 going to come off turn 4, and McKinney, Brenner, and Leverstein are going to finish in line, and that 40 of Josh Lawton is going to be able to hold on to that 4th and final transfer spot with Phil Diaz, Tyler Ducarme, and Josh Phillips rounding out that 7-car heat race. That was the first time, I think, all night, Cam, where things started to get real physical.
It did. I mean, it was just, it was not just physical. It wasn't senseless physical. It was intentional, moving machines. To me, that's what we like to see. We don't like to see just random attempts to try to move the machines forward. And we saw these drivers reacting to it, countering it, and Lawton, with his skill there in that orange number 40, was able to pull himself up to that 4th position. But everybody else, all the other cars that were not in that top 4, Randy, they have got to go to the Consolation B main.
Indeed, that is the situation. The 15 cars that have yet to get themselves into the feature event are forming up, and we got 15 laps to decide which 4 will join the tail of the 20-car field for the feature. Once again, after this race, we will be doing a giveaway, WOO tickets. We will draw a name, and 2 people will get a chance to pick a pair of tickets to any World of Outlaw event of their choice. It'll be happening here after the last chance qualifier. 15-car field, storm down it real quick. Drew Hirschko and Kevin Dedman on road number 1. Austin Selman, Phil Diaz. Road 2, Mark Molnar, Charles Cosper on row 3. Randall Carter, Tyler Ducarme on row 4. Virgil Graham, Justin Thomas and Virgil Graham on row 5, Jesse Carr, Josh Phillips, row 6, James Edens, Casey Kerwin, row 7, and Brandon Schmidt rounds up the 15-car field. iRacing safety truck gets ready to duck down to the safety of pit road. 26, Drew Hirschko in command of the field, waiting. He gets on it, 15 laps on the board, 4 spots up for grabs. Who's going to get him as they storm in towards 1 and 2? For the first time, things are going to get physical. They're 2x2 through the field.
Kevin Dedman gave a big old shot to the rear of Drew Hirschko, but Drew Hirschko was able to recover several, and he wants that bottom side all for himself, as he's got Mark Molnar actually following him there. He's trying to make it work. We'll see if it does. There's so much traffic that inside line might work. There's kind of a squeeze there between Randall Carter, Tyler Ducarme in the back there, but we have got probably 4 or 5 cars trying to stick to that inside line. The high side is obviously more popular, but with all this traffic, Randy, it looks to me like that inside line might just start making it work.
Oh, the 18 of Austin Selman made a mistake. He was doing a good job fighting with the 94 of Phil Diaz down there, but just slipped up. He's able to hold on to a transfer spot for now, though. As Mark Molnar, a lot of cars here, 97, 33, 25. What do you see behind?
Justin Thomas was involved in an incident here. He got some help from the machine of Virgil Graham, sent backwards, then sent almost over by Josh Phillips. He got parked into that outside wall, and I believe that means that he is going to be the 1 retirement.
So, field continues to run here. The 97 to 33, a little bit of contact. Mark Molnar as well as Charles Cosper, a little bit of contact. They don't lose any spots, but they lose a lot of time to that number 18 of Austin Selman. And if you're that number 18 car, that's going to calm you down a lot, Cam, because now that gap is up and over 1 second between 4th and 5th place on the racetrack, inside pretty much a half distance here.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at Kevin Dedman, and he's trying to reel in Drew Hirschko, and I mean, he might just be trying to put on hot laps to protect against Phil Diaz. But for me, just run your laps. Be nice and calm. I mean, this is literally the entire front stretch of the Limaland Motorsports Park between the transfer spot and the non-transfer spots. There's still cars leaning on each other. James Edens, he looks to me like he's not going to be making this one, Randy, because he's stuck way back in 10th position. Tyler DeCarm and Virgil Graham are having some issues as they're trading paint there in the back of the field. That's certainly not going to help.
Good hard racing here. They were 4 wide through a moment, coming off of quarter number 2, the 52, the 25. Involved in this battle, Virgil Graham, Jesse Carr, a couple other names, just to put that in the list as these guys continue to run. They're pretty far down the order, but really scrapping it out as they work themselves down the back straightaway, once again quickly in towards 3 and 4. A little bit further up the field, you have the likes of Mark Molnar, Randall Carter, and Charles Cosper here. They're continuing to scrap it out here. Little mistake coming from someone, I believe that's the 97 of Mark Molnar and Charles Cosper in the 33. They got into one another, and now they join this big melee in the back of the pack as they have 3 laps to go.
Heck, add another 20, and we'd have a good show for the fans here all over the different bands that are watching and tuned in. But yeah, for Drew Hirschko, I mean, it's a big relief. Just it's good practice, I think, for him. He's going to be comfortable and ready to rock and roll once we get to that feature race, Randy. The front 4 completely unchallenged, but Randall Carter's ready just in case anything happens.
He definitely is. He's hoping something goes awry up there, but he's only got 2 more corners for it to happen. The 26, excuse me, Drew Hirschko going to lead the field in towards 3 and 4. Your top 4 are through 3 and through 4 cleanly. So Drew Hirschko is going to win the last chance qualifier with Kevin Dedman, Phil Diaz, Austin Selman rounding out the top 4. Those are your transferees. Randall Carter, Charles Cosper, Virgil Graham, Mark Molnar, Jesse Carr, Josh Phillips, James Edens, Brandon Schmidt, Tyler DuCarme, Justin Thomas, and Casey Kerwin make up the 15-car finishing order. We are going to take a short break, and then we will do our giveaway for our 2 tickets that we have to give away here from RaceSpot TV. So once again, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Dirt Vision, if you're not on the YouTube stream, you need to come over here, and the command in the chat is !WOO tickets. We'll be doing that drawing in, well, pretty much under a minute. Do not go away.
Did you know your DirtVision.com account gives you free access to our on-demand video library? From the DirtVision.com homepage, click on On-Demand Video near the top right of the screen. And from there, countless hours of World of Outlaws footage awaits at your fingertips. Watch every lap of the current World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series season.
Sheldon Hodge looking for a run. Dives low into turn 3, slide job! Sheldon Hodge, shield to the cushion. Johnson turns it back underneath him, but Sheldon leads lap 23.
Or dive into some of the historical options with videos in our Classics section.
He has clear visibility, comes off the 4th turn in the clear, and leads lap number 1.
It's all available free and on demand on DirtVision.com.
Welcome here, and as the 2-minute warm-up between the B main and the feature event gets ready to come to a close, it is time to roll it. So if you haven't gotten your entry in yet, it is too late, and congratulations to Preston Hill, who I will be getting in contact with after this one. You have won yourself a couple of tickets to a World of Outlaws event of your choosing, but now it is time. 50-lap feature event here at the quarter-mile bull ring in Limaland. 20 cars will be scrapping it out. Let's go down your starting grid. On pole, the 35 of Nick Cooper will be leading them to green, starting on the inside of that 115 of John Fiddler. Look for the 115 to try to get a good run and hold that top side in towards 1 and 2 on that first lap. Alex Bergeron and Matt McKinney, they make up row number 2 with Austin Carr and Zach Leonardi on row number 3. Howard Weaver and Chris Brenner are on row 4. Howard Weaver, your winner from 2 weeks ago. Look for him to potentially move up through this field. David Heilman and Adam Elby are on row number 5, 2 very talented drivers in their own right, with Dylan Hauser and Jacob Leverstein on row number 6. Zach Rounds, Jacob Fields on row 7, Garrett Nieberge and Josh Lawton on row number 8, Drew Hirchko and Kevin Dedman are on row number 9, and Phil Diaz and Austin Semmelman will just squeak into the field and make up the 20-car field in this one. 50 laps, Cam, quarter-mile bull ring, top side is fast, bottom groove starting to come in a little bit. I think this is going to be fireworks all the way throughout.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is going to be a good field. Everyone should be checking their egos at the door if they had them. They get their 5-point harness on, get these things ready to rock and roll here. We are 1 to green, and we are ready to rock. You can basically see the entire field in a couple of corners. So, Randy, got a good race here at the quarter mile, and we are going to have a grand old show.
In towards 3 and 4, the field's going to go 35 and Nick Cooper. When will he decide to pick up the throttle at his earliest convenience? The 35 and Nick Cooper leads him in towards corners number 1 and 2. The feature event is green, and the 115 of John Fiddler moves down to the bottom, tries to make something happen, and he's still going to stay down there in towards 3 and 4. Can he harass that 35 and Nick Cooper? Answer's going to be no, but he's getting closer still, trying to make that bottom work. Can that 115 slide up off the corner? No, too much drive off for that 35 at the moment.
Big, huge kerfluffle way in the back for position number 13, 14. We got 1 car around. This has started basically. Will we get a caution for this one? It looks like we might not, as Garrett Nieberge. No, we will get one. Just as they were about to clear Garrett Nieberge, he just ended up bringing out that caution. He tried to get that machine around, but this thing started off probably maybe 2 corners ahead of that. They just all jumbled up, Randy.
Yeah, they took a while for, that sort of incident took a while. Unfortunately for the 19 of Garrett Nieberge, it took him so long to get that car spanned back around. He actually dropped the lap here, so, that's pretty much going to end that 19 car's night. There's no wave arounds like you would have in NASCAR, no lucky dog, nothing like that. So that number 19 machine, that's pretty much night done as far as he's concerned. He just needs to wait for people to potentially have bigger incidents and luck his way into some points, but I don't see how he could, really see any way of finishing top 15 or better tonight.
I think the banking was so much that it was actually like an actual pain to get that car turned around. But either way, for Garrett, that's not what he wanted, and certainly not what anyone else wanted. We had a good run, a good green flag here, but you know what, though? This is hopefully going to be the only caution that we have today, Randy.
We'll have to wait and see as we're coming back to green lap 6, coming to lap 7, green flag back out. Going to be 43 laps to go. A little bit of a hiccup already. The 9 of Matt McKinney, I think, got a little bit of help and set about halfway around. Did a fantastic job to hold on to that. And the field's going to make it through corners number 1 and 2, down the back straightaway. Everyone side by side, and everyone trying to pick up positions any way they can. They're 3 wide off of corner number 4. The tail into your top 10. I believe that was Hyland, McKinney, and Leonardi scrapping for position.
Yeah, and John Fiddler's been trying to work that inside line over Nick Cooper for the lead of the race, but he has got nothing in it. Alex Bergeron has been chucking that number 12 super late model into the high side of the corners as much as he can, but he has not been getting anything over John Fiddler. Fiddler's been able to keep that inside line. I think it's safe to say, Randy, the inside line is open for business.
I might be closing, though, because that 12 car has found a lot of speed up top and not a lot of time, and he is clear and comfortably in that second spot. John Fiddler gets cycled back to third as Nick Cooper has a very, let's just say, anxious number 12, Alex Bergeron, who's very quick right now, hounding that rear bumper as they head off towards corners number 1 and 2. Bergeron looks keen to keeping it single file for now, but I think if they can spread it out, that fight might pick up as Fiddler and Carr are now swapping positions. They're both running that bottom and middle line.
Yeah, and beautiful onboard shot from the Team DLR driver, Alex Bergeron. I can just see how much he's working that wheel right now as he's working around the racetrack and how close they are to the wall. Is there it goes, Nick Cooper, Club New York driver. He's working that high side line, and I think, honestly, we've got this is probably the longest green flag run I've seen in a long while, and I'm happy for it. We've got 15 laps checked in, Randy. Hopefully, John Fiddler can get this thing sorted out. He's going to have to either abort that inside line or what. And I will say, for Alex Bergeron, if that car's coming, you got to attack now, because in maybe 20, 30 laps, this track is going to be completely different.
Definitely seems that way. I've seen Alex Bergeron run offline in the past. I remember the spring fling that we did here on RaceSpot TV and on iRacing Live. Alex was very, very quick, and he was running a different line at the virtual Knoxville Speedway than a lot of the other drivers were. So that number 12 car in these super late models, very experienced, very, very fast. But that 35, Nick Cooper, he's looking pretty much picture perfect out there thus far through the first 17 laps, Cam. We're already heading towards half distance here, only 4 minutes since we went green. And that 35, he looks keen to just run that upper groove and kind of just sit up there right now, kind of just lightly brushing that rear body work along the wall. What do you see? We got a caution.
We got a caution, but I don't see any cars stopped. So now what are we going to have to do to figure out what pulled out that yellow flag?
Let's see. Going to have to look around. Be very. Oh, it was the number one, the 777 machine of Jacob Leverstein. He went around in 3 and 4. She did a good job. He sort of did a complete 360 and sort of got the car running, but spent just enough time facing the wrong direction that the yellow flag came out. With a little bit of contact. There's that 777. Jacob Leverstein, a light little contact, gets sent around the wrong way. That's just good, tight racing. Who was that behind? I think that touch came from the 5 of Kevin Dedman. Yeah, just a little bit of a touch. The 777 didn't quite hook up that cushion just right. Kind of came off of it a little bit slowly. Because of that, he gets unfortunately sent around, drops a couple of positions, but really that should be no harm, no foul, because that was not a hard hit whatsoever.
No, that was pure racing incident. There's nothing you can really do about that one. I mean, you try to plant your right rear, and as we're getting ready to go green, I forget how short this track is. You try to plant that right rear, it just didn't work out that last time.
The field already doubled back up as they head down the back straightaway in towards 3 and 4. 35 of Nick Cooper. Will he be able to hold off that 12 of Alex Bergeron? Alex, very experienced with these sort of restarts. NASCAR Peak Canyon for these iRacing Series drivers. We go back to green flag racing. Nick Cooper does a good job getting his own line here. The 12 was side by side with the 1 of Austin Carr for a moment. Still a little bit of overlap as they head in towards 3 and 4, but I think that 12 is going to hook up the top and should be clear down the front straightaway. Indeed he is. So now comfortably into that second spot. Oh, the 35 makes a bit of a hiccup. This is going to be his one chance. 3 wide for the race lead as that number 1 car of Austin Carr. He wants to make something of this as well. 12 Alex Bergeron just hops up to the top side. That's going to surrender his opportunity for the lead, but the fight is still on for second place. His car is starting to find a little bit of speed on the bottom. The 12 of Bergeron gets that run off of corner number 2 as the 07 of Howard Weaver now wants to scrap it out for that 3rd spot. He's starting to hook up that top line as well, but he gets into the outside wall.
Fantastic action here for the leader race. They want to get a piece of that pie. And Nick Cooper, what I'm seeing from him is we have another caution on the racetrack. That's Adam Elby, the 74 machine. He has gotten spun around and looks to me like he dug into the corner coming out of 3 and 4, got on the throttle, and he ended up clipping Kevin Dedman. Dedman of no fault of his own. His car was just parked there. Car went around. Obviously, the field kind of going around there, and that brings out caution at number 3.
Unfortunate there for the 74 car. Gets sent around, but sometimes the way it goes is, there's a couple little taps following that, but for the most part, I think the whole field, really the only car we've seen go a lap down is that 19 of Garrett Nieberge, and he's still just sort of solemnly there all by himself, still on the racetrack, 1 lap down, hoping for one of these guys to get terminal damage.
Yeah, and so let's see what we can do here. Nick Cooper is going to have to get ready to go because Alex Bergeron is going to be really chomping at the bit here. He almost had him last time. Let's see what he can do this time as we get ready to go with 20 to go.
I think if Alex Bergeron gets another opportunity, he's not going to let it go to waste. As the 35 gets on the throttle, Alex does a good job jumping this restart. He will have free reign of that top side. Can Nick Cooper hook up that bottom line? The 12 of Bergeron on the outside moves into the race lead, and they're 3 wide for second. Howard Weaver on the favored line up top. He picks up 2 spots on this restart. The 07 of Howard Weaver, been the most consistent driver across these World Championship Series. I think he's never finished outside the top 10 yet. He puts himself into the 3rd spot. 21 car of David Heileman in the wall, and they're 3 wide. I believe that's for 6th.
And already about a 5-car length lead, only, and it's growing for Alex Bergeron, the number 12 machine, as poor Nick Cooper, he tried, and Alex Bergeron, he's known to try to jump the start as much as he can, and so much so that people try to bait him, and he tries to get there. He finally gets a shot there, and he took the chance. Now Nick Cooper is stuck in a battle with that number 1 machine of Austin Carr and John Fiddler running that inside line, but Jack Leonardi is also looking through as Zach Browns takes a bite of the outside wall.
The 28 of Zach Rounds did not hook up the cushion just right as we're inside of 20 laps to go. And that's one of the big things, the experience of that number 12 of Alex Bergeron on restarts cams. For a lot of these dirt drivers, this is at most their 4th World Championship event ever. Alex Bergeron has a couple of seasons of experience in that NASCAR Peak Canyon Freeze iRacing series. He's used to the restart games. He's played them for a long time, been a part of them for a long time, and because of that extra year or two of experience, he can really jump the restarts and time them a lot better than a lot of these other guys are. So even though it's asphalt that he's typically done in the past, up until the past year or so, that experience really pays off in dividends at a championship like this.
Yeah, most certainly. And I mean, to be fair, there have been times where that certainly does not work out. But I will say for Alex Bergeron, he not only has the lead, he has now got it in spades here on lap 37. Howard Weaver's comfortably in second. Nick Cooper has been dejectedly put down to 3rd position as Austin Carr. He's trying to make that inside line work. And I think for a lot of these guys running this inside line, it's for the future. They're just trying to get that dirt packed in as these guys rub the outside line, but I'm not sure what you should be doing here. I mean, you can obviously put yourself on that high line, help wear out the high line or whatever, but with this iRacing system of all the dirt moving around and everything like that, Randy, it's important to try to figure out where the grip is right now, because I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch Alex Bergeron, but it is just going to be a fight for that last podium position.
Alex is just pretty much hooked up out in front. He's had a couple of laps that he's basically sprinted away from that 07 of Howard Weaver by a couple tenths, if not more. Whereas, I mean, last time through, he wasn't the cleanest of laps, found the outside wall a couple times, but still putting in some really quick laps. Fight is in the middle of the field, though, right now. 6th and 7th. This is the 1 and the 115 at Dookie. Now you have the 24 Zach Leonardi in this as well. So a 3-car scrap for the final position in your top 5. This is a money-paying position, that 5th spot. So these drivers duking it out, I believe, for $50 to get into that top 5.
Yeah, $50, and it only gets bigger than there. 50 to 1 to 150 to 2. I think it's 300 to the race winner. So it is going to be a big old cash pot in just 5 laps to go. It's the easiest way to make a couple $100 here. It's only been 10 minutes of racing here in the World Championship Series on air in the World Outlaws iRacing late models. But Alex Bergeron has found himself in lap traffic. Randy, how long has it been since we've seen that?
Not often you see lap traffic in these World Championship Series, even when it stays green, because these series are so tightly contested. But now Alex is doing a good job navigating his way through it. 07 of Howard Weaver, he's just getting into it as well. The 19 of Garrett Nieberg doing a good job staying on the bottom. Nick Cooper's done a good job hooking up that top line. He's brought that gap down to that 07 of Howard Weaver, but does he have time to make something happen, especially with the 24 car of Zach Leonardi? That's going to be the big question. Is this 3 to go at the stripe?
Yeah, and it's interesting to see here just how this battle is working out. Austin Carr has been trying that inside line the entire race, and it just isn't working. He keeps getting pounded by the cars. As I will say, the start-finish line has gotten so bumpy now that it is very hard to come in, and Garrett Nieberg is now stuck that inside. We got the white flag.
White flag, 12 car, gets that indicator from the starter stand. Ton of lap traffic out in front of Alex Bergeron. The 07 of Howard Weaver had an issue. He falls back to 4th. He was running in 2nd. But Alex Bergeron, he's going to slide through corners number 3 and 4 and win round number 2 of the World of Outlaw Super Late Model Craftsman World Championship Series. Zach Leonardi in 2nd. Nick Cooper 3rd. Howard Weaver, a late mistake, I believe, on the final lap. Not sure if this was caused by lap traffic or if something else happened that made this happen, but the 07 of Howard Weaver, he falls a couple of spots late in the running.
Yeah, and for Howard Weaver, he had Nick Cooper. He just didn't get hooked up on that outside line. Nick Cooper did. He had a great run on it. He nipped Howard Weaver. That slowed both of them down. Zach Leonardi just shot to the inside line, and he catapulted himself up to 2nd.
Yeah, the fantastic move there for Zach Leonardi. I believe that was the difference between him making about $250 and making somewhere in the realm of $50. So he's going to be happy with that one. But the happiest man is a Canadian who, despite the right rear stagger, is now driving. He's doing Polish victory laps at speed in a super late model on a dirt track. So I'm not sure how he's managing this one. Lap times actually aren't too bad either. But finishing order for your top 20. Alex Bergeron takes victory here in the 2nd round of the Super Late Model World of Outlaw Craftsman Championship Series. Zach Leonardi in second after a little late race hiccup by the 07 of Howard Weaver. 35 Nick Cooper is in third. Weaver will hold on for fourth. I think he'll be more than happy with that. David Heileman, he goes up +4 on the night, comes away with the top 5. Finally be able to put a good night together for him. Austin Carr comes home in 6th. John Fiddler starts on the outside of that front row. He falls to 7th. Zach Rounds in 8th. Dylan Hauser in 9th. And Matt McKinney, he'll round out your top 10. Kevin Dedman in 11th. Chris Brenner in 12th. Drew Hirschko in 13th. Jacob Leverstein in 14th. Jacob Fields 15th with Phil Diaz, Austin Semmelman, Josh Lawton, Adam Elby, and Garrett Nieberge rounding out the top 20. Cam, that was 50 intense laps here, as we're going to have a very short break and then get to post-race coverage in just a moment. Do not go away here on RaceSpot TV, iRacing Live, Facebook Live, or on Dirt Vision.
Courage at the mile. What part did courage play in this victory?
Kinzer going into the corner, trying to get by Dale Waxo, makes contact.
Hell of a lot, I'll tell you that right there.
So many times, everybody had lost track. Look at how it shot up on the center track.
Tell you what, that was some close races at a high speed.
The World of Outlaws create memories for fans every night. Now share your favorite Outlaw moment on social media. Whether it was 1978, 1998, or 2018, we want to know, what's your Outlaw moment? Did you sneak into a victory lane picture? Get whiplash driving past a parking lot full of crews at work? Or maybe you simply got to meet your favorite driver in the pits after the races. Tweet it, Instagram it, just use the hashtag #MyOutlawMoment. You might even hear Voice of the Outlaws Johnny Gibson share your memory at the track. Don't delay, start posting today. Let us know with My Outlaw Moment.
Welcome back here to RaceSpot TV on iRacing Live, Dirt Vision, and on Facebook Live. Post-race coverage time, and we are stood by with your race winner, the 12th car of Alex Bergeron. Apparently doing a little bit of chatting in our Waiting for Interview channel with a couple of the other drivers. But Alex, what a run here. You started third, which is, you know, pretty good. Third quickest in qualifying, dominated your heat race. You only had a couple of opportunities to make that path for the race win, though. There was one opportunity down the back straightaway after that 35 made a mistake, but due to some of the cars scrapping it out behind you, they shoved the nose in a couple awkward places. You couldn't make that one stick, but you timed to restart, managed to make it stick on the outside. Did you think it was pretty much done and over with at that point, or did you think that someone was likely going to make a move on you in the later stages?
Maybe I was there if a restart would have come, but, you know, I just didn't look in my mirror and just tried to deal with the lap cars there at the end and being patient with the lap cars and just do my line up top. And I didn't want to try the bottom because my car was a bit too understeery for the bottom, so I decided to stay up top, and it worked out for us. So pretty happy with the result tonight.
How is it dealing with that lap traffic? Because oftentimes in things like the sprint cars and sometimes even the super late models for some of the typical events we'll see, it's not often you'll get lap traffic. But here tonight, due to the higher lap count and due to it being a half distance track to what we're used to, a quarter mile versus a half mile, how much experience do you really have dealing with the lap traffic, and how difficult is it dealing with the lap traffic compared to, like I said, in the sprint cars and most of the other super late model tracks where you never will really even see it?
Well, you gotta think before you get to the lap cars, so you can plan what line you're gonna use. So you can be prepared before you get to the lap cars. That could be like a lap or two before you get to the lap cars. But you definitely don't want to be too slow, so the second place is gonna catch you. So you definitely want to just go by and just blow by them as quick as possible, so the second place doesn't catch you. So it's just being patient. And sprint cars, it's just goes a bit faster, so it's either the bottom or the top side. And I feel like the late models are a bit easier to pass for lap cars. So it was a good race. Like, this is the first time we actually got lap cars for a race in late model for me, so it's pretty awesome.
$300 richer after this one. Where's that money going?
Oh, just going to the bank.
In the bank, and, well, let's be real, most of us, the money doesn't stay there for very long. So congratulations, Alex. Fantastic driving tonight. Who gets it done on that number 12 VLR car?
Well, of course, VLR. I worked for a good setup tonight. That was awesome. Last week at Volusia, we had a good run, starting like at 14, I think, 13, and we got up front, top 5, and something happened. So just racing, it's part of it. But tonight we're pretty good tonight. So that was awesome. So Team VLR, all my partners, especially Bob King for the paint scheme night. That was good paint to be up front. So yeah. They're collective, of course. Meyer Inc., Racing Dude, and yeah, and you guys for broadcasting, and iRacing for putting this up. Will of Outlaws, and yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome indeed. Congratulations once again on the big win, Alex. Hope to see you have a good run after week 13, not only in the sprint cars, but in these in the late models and in the NASCAR PK and Freeze iRacing series as well.
Thank you.
So that's your race winner, Alex A. Bergeron. He enjoys an extra $300 after victory tonight. Cam Walsh, second position, double the positions, double the number 20, double the number 24. Now stood by with Cam Walsh and Zach Leonardi.
Yep, and here is the number 24 late model machine and the Dead Zone Racing Leonardi Racing Designs car. And Zach, well, a bit of a long night, I have to say. You had a lot of battling to do in that number 24 car, Limaland, playing host. This is pretty much the first late model race I've seen here at Limaland. I got to say, it put on a great show, at least for the fans in the stands and us in the booth. But how was it there on the track?
It's definitely one of my best and one of my favorite racetracks. And it raced pretty good. I mean, it's usually top dominant, but you usually can't even move to the bottom so that we can make some passes down there. I mean, it was pretty good. I thought we'd have been better than, I mean, second's still pretty good, but like I practiced a lot, tested a lot. We were pretty good. And I just messed up qualifying, but it was all in all pretty good. But yeah, we started 6th or whatever, and I got hung back in 7th and tore this thing apart trying to pass cars, and I couldn't do nothing. And I just calmed down and drove back up with guys, and then I think it was one of the fastest cars on the track when I was catching Howard and Nick, and then they got together and got by them pretty lucky. So I'll come out of it pretty good, points deal, and then paying positions. That's pretty good.
And I was about to ask about that last couple corner incident between Nick Cooper and Howard Weaver. Weaver was running second there. He got a little shot from Cooper. When you saw that happening, were you just prepared to just kind of dump it in the wall? I mean, the car reacted so quickly. You pointed it right down to the inside and passed him. Just kind of take me through that moment there, where the two cars in front of you are fighting each other a little too hard.
Well, it's kind of weird. I run a different line than everybody in 3 and 4 because everyone kind of just runs right up on the fence, right on the cushion, and I like to enter in lower and then scoot up to the wall and then bend it real side and drive down to the brown down the racetrack. And so I was doing that anyway, and I have VR, so I kind of looked down and I saw Howard's nose pointing at me, so I just pinned that thing a little bit further down and just drove down to the bottom of the racetrack and drove by both of them. But I knew Nick would get hung behind him, so I had to go by fast to keep going. I was just hoping Howard wouldn't come on the racetrack and hook me. But it was a pretty crazy moment for sure. And I was already driving pretty hard because when I was sitting in 4th, I was like, well, this don't pay nothing, and 3rd does. So I was driving pretty hard trying to get to him.
Well, you managed to do just that, and you got it yourself up to 2nd position, so congratulations on that one. Sponsors, who gets it done, and who'd you like to thank?
I think Leonardi Race Designs, Dead Zone Racing for the setup work throughout the week, and kind of a last-second deal. The drill spill went in with Ashton Crowder, and we kind of tweaked on our stuff and put an alliance together, and that worked out pretty good for us tonight.
Oh, there you go. Limaland checked off. Good race for you. We'll see you in a couple weeks' time, Zach.
Yeah.
That is the number 24 super late model here at Limaland Motorsports Park. We'll get it. It rolls off the tongue. Super late model. But either way, Randy, you are standing by with Nick Cooper.
Yeah, I am stood by with that number 35 car. And Nick, a couple cars in front of you, they're pretty opportunistic in order to pick up their spots. You, unfortunately, were the driver that they had to be opportunistic on. A couple little mistakes through this race cost you a couple of spots. But overall, a solid 3rd place finish. You have to be happy with that.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't expect to be this good for this race, and I really got to thank my teammates and everything for putting in a lot of work. I didn't get a lot of time to practice for this, and I'm just glad it worked out, and shout out to my teammate Alex for getting the win. Well,
things were pretty aggressive up there out in front, and what was it more aggressive being out front dealing with Alex, or did things kind of spice up when you lost that lead and started dealing with the likes of Howard and Zach and David running for that second, third spot?
At first, the challenge was not to hit the wall. Obviously, Limaland, just you have to run the top, so I knew that was going to be a challenge. And after I made a few mistakes, which I knew I was going to because it's so hard to run, I just knew that something was going to get dicey when that started to happen. And I'm just glad that everybody kept their head. And surprisingly, the race was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Well, congratulations, Nick. Fantastic run for you in that number 35. We come back on June the 19th for this series at Eldora after a build release. How much prep's going to go into that following next Tuesday?
I'd have to say a lot. Spent a lot of time on the setups, and it's like I said, my whole teammates and VLR and everybody that's part of Victory Lane Racing, we all just work together on setups, and it pays off. Top 3 in the finishing order, top 4 I think actually. But nonetheless, good job.
Well, congratulations, Nick, on a fantastic run. Who gets it done for you in that number 35? Hello? So I think we may have lost Nick there, unfortunately. Sorry to his sponsors, but fantastic run from him, Cam, in that number 35 car. He looked very strong tonight.
Yes, he did. And I will just say, I mean, honestly, best race we've had so far. I love this. This was great racing. Cars were leaning on each other, but it didn't look like there was any malice involved. No crazy decisions to just chuck the cars in. I'm happy. I hope the guys at the World of Outlaws are happy because that is a great show. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what kind of sports racing you like. That was exactly what you would get on any Friday night.
Yeah, that was super amazing. That is going to do it for us here, rounding out your Memorial Day weekend of motorsports events. But that's not all we have coming at you this week. Later on this week, probably the biggest event we have, the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series kicks off round number 6 at Watkins Glen. Join Will Vincent, Jake Sperry, and Johnny Simone for that. Of course, throughout the week, we have the International GT3 Championship, 2K World's Cup 12-hour at the Glen, as well as Friday Dirt Night happening with Rallycross at Sonoma and USAC 360s at Charlotte. World of Outlaws Championship Series, the World Championships, they come back after next week, 13 next week. So for those who may not be familiar, iRacing is an ever-evolving service with constant updates. Pretty much everything. That includes content, that includes physics stuff, that includes features. We have a build release next week, so because of that, it's a little bit of an off week. The sprint cars, they will be returning on June the 12th for a 30-lap show here at Limaland. And the Super Late Model Series, that will be in 2 weeks' time. And the Super Late Model Series, they will return as well. They will be running at Eldora. So those tracks are going to be fantastic once we get to them. And I hope to see you guys tune in, because it's going to be a good show. But for everyone here at RaceSpot TV, from everyone at iRacing, from Mr. Cam Walsh, and from Hugo Louis, thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.